Friday, April 29th, 2022. Today on the Daily Review, we discuss a movie just released on HBO Max that I know my father's going to watch. It's the story of Henry Haff, the boxer, the survivor of Auschwitz. And this is his story called The Survivor. Directed by Barry Levinson. With your host, me, Professor Joe LaRocca. Okay, so this is Ben Foster in a transformative role of him as Herska Heth, who is a Polish man who is gets caught up. Shouldn't have said it like that. Ends up in Auschwitz and ends up making friends with a German officer. After that, officer witnesses him get into a fight and realize that he could potentially be a boxer for these, like, in camp, making them fight each other to, like, entertain the generals. It's sickening, obviously. And we get this story of basically a whole, his whole life almost, all chopped up, telling his story, his eventual fight with Rocky Marciano. But the bigger thing, it's not really a boxing movie like most good boxing movies. It's not really about the boxing. It's about, what other demons you're fighting. And obviously this guy's got to get over some horrible PTSD to, the nth degree from what he was forced to do to survive. And yeah, it's horrific. And I want to like it more, because it's a noble attempt, but it's very, very heavy-handed. The directing and the script, there's way too much talking. And it's in a realm of so many remarkable movies that it can't help but kind of pluck from that imagery. So, we're talking like Schindler's List and The Pawnbroker and Rocky and Raging Bull, it's kind of like a combination of all four of those movies, but without ever kind of being its own unique thing. Like it's got the fights are a little bit like Raging Bull in that they're a bit surreal and dreamlike, and the transformation of the character from a camp skinny being from in the camps for years and all the way up to like an older man who's has come to some solace in his life. We get to see a full transformation like we do with Raging Bull. Then there's the kind of love story thing going on, a little bit like Rocky, and the guilt, the guilt and the black and whiteness of the Holocaust scenes from, Schindler's List and Pawnbroker, where it's clearly, I don't know. So there's all those things that are influencing it, but I never feel like it gets off to be its own movie. You get what I mean? And so it's got a lot of great actors in there. John Leguizamo, Peter Sarsgaard, Billy McNaughton, Vicky Krieps, Danny DeVito. So that's what's a little bit disappointing about it. And it's Barry Levinson. He did Rain Man, Liberty Heights, and some, I say Liberty Heights because that was, I think, Ben Foster's first movie, and they worked together. So we know he can do it, I really think the script is a little bit too obvious. It's not like artistically directed, in my opinion. And those cliches make it look, stand out to me. Maybe that's not true for everybody, but as a historical biopic, I mean, it's very admirable. I just don't like. I guess the third thing I don't like, I guess the directing isn't so bad. The script I don't really like, but the thing that bothered me was the editing. It's that kind of cross-cutting between the events that are happening now and things that happened in the camps. And, you do that once, dude, in your climax. You don't do it every fucking 5 minutes. Like, he picks up a cup, and then it's like him in the camp picking up a cup. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Not every time, dude. It's just so spastic and it just lacks patience, It's like, no, dude, let your movie unfold. Plus, you have the kind of unbalanced of the middle part of the movie being his fight with Rocky Marciano, which I know is important because the movie isn't a boxing movie, but it then kind of teeters the movie to, I found the second half to just be painful. You know, even though there is some like forgiveness in there, it gets pretty hardcore when he finally goes into details about what he did, you know, what his worst sins were. If you could even consider them sins. And that's what the good part of the movie is that it's like, well, you were forced to survive. Danny DeVito has this line when he's like, you know, about, because Danny DeVito works for Rocky Marciano, and he goes, you can't win. All you can do is survive it. That's the best thing that's going to happen to you in this fight, you know? And it's like, that's the only line that should have been in the whole movie. You know, I would have taken out every other line of dialogue and only had that line of dialogue, and I would have had it been like in the last 10 minutes of the movie. It's all you need. Like, I don't know what all this is. This movie just needs to be like way more artistically directed. But that being said, it's fucking heartbreaking, you know? And man's inhumanity to man is always like punishing, and he becomes an outcast amongst outcasts just to survive. And then he gets home and the same thing basically happens to him again, you know, and it just keeps happening to him. And, yeah, you know, so the story, it's like, holy shit, but this movie could have been like, I don't know, we've moved beyond this. Ever since like Son of Saul or something like that, it's like, no, dude, we are beyond this type of Holocaust movie where I don't know. I mean, yeah. That's my opinion. That's why I can only give it. Oof. This is tough. This is a tough rating because if I don't give it high enough, I know my dad's gonna watch this and be like, "Well, you should," because this is everything he likes, boxing and World War II. So it's like, it's definitely not in the A range. But I'm gonna give it this, which is a bit harsh, a bit harsher than I should be. Is it not coming up? Yeah, it's a B. It's maybe a B+, but I'm going to give it a B because I actually think in the end it's a little bit forgettable for how brutal and stuff it is. Some of the most painful stuff is they're doing it the easiest way possible. I don't know. I feel kind of bad shitting on this movie because it's not bad at all. It's just kind of, it's just so close. You know, this is one of those frustrating movies where it's like, oh, that could have been awesome. That could have been like the new Raging. That could have been like the new most important drama. But instead, it never takes its own flight path. It just kind of goes the way it's got to go. And Ben Foster, you know, I mean, he's impressive, man. He can do a lot, but, you know, maybe he's too much as well. Who knows? An outcast among outcasts. Yes. Quite good. Look at that. Odie's very asleep. Okay. This movie also came out in 2001. 2021, and I had never heard of it until I saw it come up yesterday on HBO, and I was like, ooh, that's not good if I haven't heard about it. Anyway, like and subscribe if you like to subscribe. I'm here every day. You can be here as much as you want. That is my review of The Survivor. Barry Levinson. Maybe he's too old to make movies. Maybe he's not.